I'm Ruth Huxley and I'm the Managing Director of Great Cornish Food. If you think about it, in every part of the world, food is a defining part of our culture, our community and our economy, and Scilly's no different. It's easy to think of Cornwall and Scilly as all the same place really, but actually there's some really distinct differences about an island community and an island economy. They've got different challenges and different solutions, and that's why we specifically wanted to focus on Scilly for part of our work. I've been going to Scilly for 25 years since I moved to Cornwall, and I've always felt it's remarkable, the resilience of the people, the creativity, the resourcefulness, the distinctiveness, and I feel it's really important that we do what we can to strengthen that, and it's been wonderful to see over the past year how many opportunities we've had to do that and how we've managed to encompass Scilly into pretty much all that we've done. I like to think of Scilly as a microcosm of Cornwall really, where all the challenges that we face every day here are just accentuated. Food and drink provides vital employment for local families, and that revenue is in turn spent within the local economy. There are enormous challenges that Ailsa Scilly food and drink producers face all the time. Imagine living 28 miles offshore. You've got to depend on a supply boat to get every piece of equipment, materials, packaging, anything that's not produced on the island to you for your business. And then if you're selling off the islands, you've got to get it all back again. Not only is there the cost implication, but you know that you can never depend on that supply boat coming on the day it's supposed to come. So that adds a lot of complexity, a lot of logistics, and a lot of cost into operations. The islands are almost entirely a seasonal economy as well. That means it's really tricky to find staff because you can't necessarily offer full-time jobs. Also, those staff need accommodation in a place where there's an acute shortage of housing, and the accommodation for them is needed just at the time when all the other accommodation is taken up with people already there on holiday. In such a highly seasonal economy, finding all year round markets to balance that seasonality is really important, and that's the kind of thing we're helping some of these businesses do. Farming and fishing and food and drink production on Scilly is about as sustainable as it gets really, because when you're in a place where you have to really think about your resources, they're really valuable. Even water that we don't think about is anywhere near as valuable as resources we should do. Every producer on Scilly thinks about and considers in everything they do. When you've got to think in that way, then you are resourceful. You're thinking about preserving and sustaining those resources for the future. I don't think there's necessarily a threat of failure of the Ailsa Scilly food and drink producers, although of course in any economy there's always natural churn. But what we can do, I think, is help these businesses become more resilient, help them overcome the bumps in the road that they're going to encounter, and help them expand their horizons. It's easy to think that financial help is a cure-all, but through the work we've done, the noticeable benefits have been things like introducing expertise, encouraging collaboration, sharing ideas, those kind of things. I think the single greatest transformation that is there waiting to happen in Scilly right now is to increase the scope and the scale of production. And I know that it's easy to think farming and food production is really difficult, and we've explained how much more difficult it is on an island, but it's just waiting there to happen. More produce produced on Scilly to use in creative ways and to feed the local population there would be fantastic. There's a lot of talk about food security at the moment, and Scilly actually has already got there. It's already had to become secure and resilient, and actually Scilly could show us all the way to go in that respect.